Today's transfer news. Michael Bridge is alongside me. Let's start with Tottenham, shall we? Eyeing a midfielder with Premier League experience.
Yes, we can tell you now this afternoon that Tottenham Hotspur and Bayern Munich are in talks over a potential loan deal for Palhinha, the former Fulham midfielder, who's brilliant for Fulham. That earned him a big money move to Bayern Munich. It's not really worked out for Palhinha at Bayern. He's only started 6 Bundesliga games last season, only played 45 minutes at the Club World Cup, but I understand this would be a straight loan, no obligation or no option as it stands. But if it was to happen, it would give Tottenham some real experience in that sort of number 6 central midfield role. I think there'll be some departures as well, but yeah, they do need a few players in as well, and that would add some real quality in that midfield.
Right, lads and lasses, gather round because this is proper interesting. Words come out that we're seriously pursuing Palhinha from Bayern Munich. And I'm not going to lie, this has got me buzzing more than I should be for what could be a $45 million permanent deal. But here's the thing, isn't it always the way with Spurs? Just when you think you've got the transfer window figured out, something like this drops and suddenly you're checking your phone every 5 minutes like you're waiting for a text from your ex. Now, for those who might have forgotten, Palhinha was that absolute unit in Fulham's midfield who used to boss games like he owned the pitch. Nearly 80 Premier League appearances, 8 goals, and the kind of presence that made you think, bloody hell, why didn't we go for him back then? Well, turns out Bayern did go for him. 47.4 million worth of going for him, and now he's barely getting a sniff under company. The Portuguese international has made only 25 appearances in all competitions this season, struggling with both injuries and form issues. Classic Bayern, that. Buy a Premier League proven midfielder and then act surprised when he can't adapt to their system overnight. Look, if you're a proper Spurs fan who's been through the emotional roller coaster that is supporting this club under Thomas Frank's new regime, you know exactly why this signing makes sense. Frank's completely transformed our approach since taking over from Postecoglou in June. And if you're not already part of our community here, smash that subscribe button because we're the ones who'll tell you the truth about what's happening at N17 under the new Danish gaffer. Frank wants more options in midfield, and frankly, who can blame him? We've already shown we mean business this summer by making Mathys Tel's loan permanent for around $35 million after his successful spell helping us win the Europa League. We've also brought in Mohamed Kudus from West Ham for $55 million, though we're still smarting for missing out on Morgan Gibbs-White after he signed a new contract with Nottingham Forest despite us activating his $60 million release clause. But Palhinha's 30 now. He's at that perfect age where he's got the experience but isn't completely past it. Remember how solid he was for Fulham? The man was like a human wall, breaking up play and actually knowing how to pass the ball to his own teammates. Revolutionary stuff, really. The fact that Bayern are reportedly asking around $30 to $40 million is both encouraging and typically Spurs, isn't it? Encouraging because it's not completely mental money in today's market. Typically Spurs because you just know that if he has a blinder of a season, we'll be kicking ourselves for not tying him down permanently from the start. Though reports suggest Frank's team are prepared to offer up to $45 million to get this done, which shows serious intent. But here's what's got me cautiously optimistic, and you know how rare that is for us Spurs fans. Frank clearly knows what he wants. Since replacing Postecoglou after our Europa League triumph, he's shown he's not messing about in the transfer market. There's a pattern here, and it's not the usual throw money at random players and hope for the best approach we've seen in the past. This feels strategic? I know. Dangerous word to use when talking about Tottenham. The timing makes sense too. Palhinha's clearly not happy sitting on Bayern's bench. He's fallen behind Joshua Kimmich, Alexander Pavlovic, and Leon Goretzka in the pecking order. You don't go from being Fulham's main man to watching from the sidelines without getting a bit restless. His agent's probably been working overtime to get him back to the Premier League, and we're the ones picking up the phone. Sometimes the stars align, even for Spurs. What's interesting is that this deal could help Bayern fund their own moves in the market, particularly their pursuit of Liverpool's Luis Diaz. It's a win-win situation. They get cash, we get a proven Premier League midfielder who knows the league inside out. Frank's even admitted he wants to prioritize players with Premier League experience, which makes perfect sense given our Champions League commitments next season. The competition from Fulham is a bit concerning though, isn't it? Reports suggest the Cottagers are exploring a loan move to bring their former favorite back to Craven Cottage. Imagine losing out on Palhinha because he fancies a reunion with his old club rather than joining us for Champions League football. That would be peak Spurs, wouldn't it? But let's be honest, even if we do land him, he's exactly what we need. A proper defensive midfielder who knows the league, understands the physicality, and won't need 6 months to figure out that Premier League football is a bit different from the Bundesliga. With Frank planning to potentially move Yves Bissouma on to make room, this could be the natural replacement we've been crying out for. The Portuguese international has also been quite vocal about wanting to prove himself again, telling Sport TV, "Obviously, it hasn't been an easy year for me, but I'm also very motivated to prove my worth once again." That's the kind of hunger you want in a player, especially one who's 30 and knows this could be his last big move. Reports from the Telegraph suggest there's a strong possibility Palhinha will end up as a Tottenham player this summer, though any deal might not be finalized until after our Asian preseason tour. The fact that we're willing to break our usual transfer policy of signing younger players with high resale value shows how serious Frank is about this move. The last time we paid a transfer fee for a player who was 30 or older was Fernando Llorente back in 2017. Is this finally the summer where Frank's vision comes together? Or are we just setting ourselves up for another beautiful disappointment? What do you reckon? Is Palhinha the experience and quality we need to compete in the Champions League, or just another expensive gamble that might not pay off?